Season 11, the latest updated new content for Tom Clancy's The Division 2, goes live tomorrow, Tuesday, February 28th, and while it is not the game's largest update in history, rather it's actually on the smaller side as we ramp up towards the commencement of Year 5 content in a few months' time. There are a few very key changes and additions making their way into the game this season, and clearly the developers are doing something right, because ever since we had the public test server for this update last month, and ever since we learned more about what this update is bringing, I've heard from numerous people, both old viewers of mine and newer members in my community, that for one reason or another, this update, Season 11, is what's finally going to be bringing them back to the game. Some just after a few months of a break, some much longer. So again, while Season 11 isn't a content powerhouse, it is doing a few very notable things, and that's catching people's attention. Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today, if you're watching this video, perhaps you're somebody who's on the fence about returning to The Division 2, wondering what's new, or if this is the right time to be jumping back in, and so, because I've already heard from so many who are, I thought I'd put together this quick breakdown going over what the community has pretty much decided are the three most pivotal changes and additions coming with Season 11, so that you can get an idea of if this is the update for you. I won't be going over absolutely everything this update is bringing. If you want that kind of a breakdown, I recommend checking out my recap of the developer stream we received earlier today. I will leave a link for that in the top corner of your screen and down in the description below. But as I said, I want to highlight the three big changes and additions people are talking about, because chances are, if you've played The Division before, at least 1 out of 3 of these is going to pique your interest. So without further ado, let's get into it. And the first thing to talk about is the story. Believe it or not, a lot of people are getting very excited for Season 11's story. Division isn't always known for having the most groundbreaking or gripping story, but in case you haven't played since Year 4 content kicked off last year, Massive has really stepped up their game when it comes to storytelling and the ongoing plot line of the game. Back in Season 9, they made some innovations to the game's seasonal story model. This included a deeper and more personalized connection to the story via new cutscenes, as well as the addition of a greater number of audio logs per season, the most important of which now required you to be out of combat and in a quieter setting to listen to them, meaning their significance could be much better consumed. They also streamlined the manhunt process, requiring less grinding and gameplay to get from story beat to story beat. The mission takeover system was introduced, now placing manhunt targets within main missions rather than the random bounty locations to enhance their scale and effect. And there were a few other minor additions as well, like the increased individualization of seasonal activities via unique audio lines found at propaganda broadcasts. Most importantly, however, was the story itself. It's the best it's been in years. Year 4 has seen the introduction of new characters, new threats, new mysteries. There's far more stakes and emotion behind the events taking place, and the prime target missions themselves have been grander and more epic than ever before. And so, this trend of an increased care and quality behind the game's story and seasons is continuing into Season 11, serving as the finale for Year 4. Things are set to get quite explosive. Literally, we're hunting down Stovepipe as our latest prime target. Again, I recommend you checking out my developer stream recap if you want more information there. But all you need to know is that between many rumors and whispers by data miners, as well as comments made by the devs themselves, Season 11 is set to quite possibly be the best season The Division 2 has ever received, on a story level at least. Perhaps already topping the high bar set by Season 9 just last year. There's even been rumors that we may be restoring the castle settlement throughout the course of the season, which for many has been a request for years. So while it may not be for everybody, Season 11's story is set to be some of the best the game has ever received, and I've seen many people get very excited by that prospect. Next up, we've got to talk about an incredibly bold move being made by the developers. It's one that's drummed up endless controversy ever since its announcement, but again, I've seen many say that for them, this is what is bringing them back to the game, because it's something they've wanted for a long time. And that is the fact that with this update, the restriction is being lifted off of previously raid and legendary exclusive exotic items. Not entirely, but partly. With Season 11, the Eagle Bear, Ravenous, and Bighorn exotics will all now be available within Dark Zone loot tables in addition to their raid and legendary drop sources. The request for people to have additional ways to unlock the items tied to the raids has been a highly vocalized one for a long time. Many find the Division 2's raids to be very inaccessible due to the lack of matchmaking as well as the 8-player requirements. And honestly, while I never thought Massive would give into these requests in any way, they have. Now to be fair, it is still going to be very difficult to obtain these items. The Dark Zone, while not quite the terror it was back in The Division 1, is still far from a walk in the park. The biggest threat coming from the risk of encountering other players in PvP combat, so while these items will still be highly exclusive, players are now going to have an alternative and certainly more solo accessible method of potentially picking these items up. Personally, I'm fine with these changes. The raids have been out for a very long time, and if there were any spot to add these items into the game, I think the Dark Zone makes the most sense. It's supposed to be the highest risk, highest reward spot in the game, and it's fallen short of that for quite a while now. So if this change helps remedy that somewhat while finally offering a large number of players a chance at some exotics they didn't previously have access to, I'm game. And so if you are somebody who hasn't raided or done legendary content before, Season 11 is suddenly delivering you 3 extra items to hunt down in addition to its other new gear and exotic offerings. And for those of you who have been asking for additional unlock methods on these items for years at this point, have at it. Your wish has been granted. And lastly, we come to the Season 11 edition that certainly has the most number of active players hyped up, but I've also seen a surprising amount of Division 1 veterans and old Division 2 players that say they plan on hopping into this update just to get their hands on this. And that's the fact that the developers are bringing back one of the franchise's most beloved and powerful exotic items in history, that being the NinjaBike Messenger backpack. I did a video not too long ago taking a look at how this item functioned back in the Division 1 and why it was so popular back then. I'll leave a link for that in the upper corner if you're interested. But for anybody who's unaware, the concept is pretty simple. When wearing the NinjaBike bag, any brand or gear set item you have equipped gets a +1, meaning if you only have one piece of a gear set equipped, you're suddenly going to receive the bonus for wearing 2 pieces of it. Or if you only have 2 pieces of a brand set on, the game will give you the benefit for wearing 3 of them. The NinjaBike bag was an absolutely adored item in the Division 1 simply due to the sheer creativity and build diversity it brought to the game, and in the past few weeks leading to Season 11's release, I've just been foaming at the mouth thinking of the number of new combinations to try out. For me, this is without a doubt what I'm most looking forward to with this update. We learned in this morning's stream that it's going to be available via Season 11's reward track, meaning it's widely available for all types of players and can be obtained quite fast if you rack up those XP points. So that's absolutely going to be my first goal upon logging in tomorrow. And like I said, with all of the people I've spoken to about this coming update, the addition of the NinjaBike is by far the one that's excited the most amount of people, and it's easily the reason I've heard the largest number of people give as for why they plan on returning to the game come Season 11's release. There's a lot of great stuff to look forward to with this update's offerings in the Division 2, even more promising things being set up for Year 5 in just a few months, and so regardless of if you're a returning player, a new player, or somebody who still plays daily, I hope this helped inform you on some of the biggest highlights coming in this Season 11 update. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on Season 11's content offerings, everybody. Of the 3 things we discussed or anything else coming in the update, what are you most excited for? I know I can't wait to dive in tomorrow. It's been a long gap since the last new stuff we had to sink our teeth into, so it's going to be a ton of fun to check everything out. That's going to do it for me today, though. Everybody, once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold. Ow.